think they're going to impeach you?
I don't see how they can, because they're possibly allowed, although I can't imagine the courts allowing it. I've never gone into it. I never thought that would even be possible to be using that word. To me, it's a dirty word, the word impeach. It's a dirty, filthy, disgusting word, and it had nothing to do with me. So I don't think so, because there was no crime. You know, it's high crimes and, not with or. It's high crimes and misdemeanors. There was no high crime and there was no misdemeanor. So how do you impeach based on that? And it came out that there was nothing to do with Russia. The whole thing is a scam. It's a giant presidential harassment. And honestly, I hope it goes down as one of my greatest achievements, because I've exposed corruption. Like nobody knew existed.
To be clear, this is the President of the United States claiming that he can't imagine the courts allowing impeachment. Impeachment doesn't happen in the courts. It happens in Congress. So it doesn't matter what judges are for or against it. All that matters is what Congress does. Because nothing says America first like not having a clue how the Constitution works. But that might honestly be why Trump was pushing so hard to get Brett Kavanaugh onto the Supreme Court, despite multiple credible accusations of sexual misconduct. He thought a conservative majority on the Supreme Court would save him from impeachment in Congress. But it got worse. Trump thinks you have to commit both high crimes and misdemeanors to get impeached.
There was no crime. You know, it's high crimes and, not with or. It's high crimes and misdemeanors. There was no high crime and there was no misdemeanor.
So apparently, as long as you just commit high crimes, but be very careful not to do any misdemeanors, then you're totally in the clear. It's like the first one is a freebie. Imagine seriously thinking that the only way to get impeached is by committing a high crime and a misdemeanor. That sure, he might have dabbled in high crimes, but because he hasn't had any disorderly conduct or petty theft charges, he'll never be impeached. In reality, whereas the White House might be suggesting that high crimes and misdemeanors require a charge of a statutory crime, that's not the case. In fact, for a good example of what exactly this phrase means, we can look to Republican Congressman Justin Amash's explanation, in which he stated that high crimes and misdemeanors is not defined in the Constitution and does not require corresponding statutory charges. The context implies conduct that violates the public trust, and that view is echoed by the framers of the Constitution and early American scholars. And this explanation was rated as true by fact checkers. So no, Trump does not need to commit an actual statutory misdemeanor to be impeached. All that would suffice is a breach of public trust, which could stem from, I don't know, 10 separate instances of obstruction of justice? Trump then goes on to claim that impeachment is a dirty word. And if he thinks that's bad, just wait until he hears the Access Hollywood tape. Finally, Trump congratulates himself on the whole ordeal, claiming that this will go down as his greatest achievement. And look, if he's worried about people not remembering him first and foremost for all of this, I don't think he has anything to worry about. Trump says that because of Mueller's investigation, he's exposed corruption. And in his defense, that's true. Trump has exposed corruption. Without him, we wouldn't have known a thing about Paul Manafort cheating the United States out of over $15 million in taxes while laundering money for pro-Russian Ukrainians. We wouldn't know about Mike Flynn working as an unregistered foreign agent for the Turkish government while seeking to influence policy in the United States. We wouldn't know about Russian attempts to hack our election systems. We wouldn't know that the Trump Organization would need to be subpoenaed for possible insurance fraud and for exploiting undocumented workers. We wouldn't know that Kushner's real estate firm was filing false paperwork indicating it has no rent-regulated tenants in its buildings when it had hundreds. We wouldn't know that Eric Trump's foundation was purportedly raising millions for St. Jude's, but lied about its expenses to pay themselves and different organizations hundreds of thousands of dollars earmarked for children's cancer research. So between all of this administration might have good reason to be preoccupied with the courts, but to Trump's surprise, those courts won't have anything to do with his impending impeachment.